Greetings, Indie Warriors, and welcome to I Dream of Indie. My name's Ole Gamer Joe, and today we are reviewing Crash Drive 3 on the Nintendo Switch. This is a free roaming open world racer that is actually cross-play with all platforms, so you'll be able to enjoy playing with others regardless of which console, or if you prefer playing on PC. There's not a ton of different gameplay modes in Crash Drive 3. You can either play the game connected online, or you can play the game offline if you so wish. If you're playing online, players can hop right into your gameplay. You don't invite them or anything like that. It's all interwoven into the gameplay, so you don't really have to do anything. You'll just have random folks across the world. As you are dropped into this open world, you'll realize that there's a timer in this title, and as that timer ticks down, you'll be presented with a few different challenges. I say a few because, yeah, that's one of the problems with this game. It is lacking a little bit of variety in terms of gameplay. Regardless, these challenges range from bumping into a beach ball, to flipping around, going off of ramps and trying to get a high score, to tagging different objects in the environment. There's also a cops and robbers mode where you can chase around other players that are in the map, but if you're solo, obviously you can only do so much. Crash Drive 3's controls will feel pretty familiar to anyone who's played a racing game before. You have the ZR button for your gas, and you can reverse using the ZL button. You have the handbrake with the L button. You can boost for added speed and for more fun with the R button. And then there are also some built-in chat greetings. Yeah, believe it or not, that's still a thing. At any rate, I felt like the game controlled decently enough. As you go off various ramps, loops, and hills, you can try to increase your multiplier and get a higher and higher score. This will depend on the challenge that you're facing, of course, because in certain instances, you might have to compete against other live players to get the highest score. When you're not taking part in one of the game's various challenges, you can also just roam around these open areas. There's about 5 of them in total, but you will need to unlock each new area. You do this in kind of a backwards way, in my opinion. You have to find these green rings that are scattered across the world, and then shoot your car or truck or van or whatever you're driving right through those rings. I think you need about 8 of them in total, if I recall, and once you do that, you'll have to pay some cash, which is earned through different challenges, to unlock the next map. I would have preferred some sort of a different system to unlock the next level, because the whole going through the rings thing, yeah, wasn't my favorite. As you complete more and more tasks, hopefully placing well and earning a lot of money, you can then use that money in the garage. There's over 50 vehicles to be unlocked in this game, and there's plenty of customizable options for those as well, including plates and antennas. So it's going to take a while to unlock everything in this game. You're going to go through a lot of the same motions. I think you'll find a lot of the same tasks will need to be completed over and over again. So really, it's going to be a game where you might not want to sit there for 5, 6, 7 hours at a time and drill away at it. You might want to play it bit by bit, piece by piece, and sort of complete challenges so that you don't burn out. Car pun there, burnout. Haha. In total, there are 10 different events for you to partake in. There are some hidden items throughout the maps as well for you to try and find. But yeah, things do wear thin after a while. The game gets repetitive. You can only play the same challenges so many times. I was having fun with the game, and I emphasize was there because unfortunately, as I got to the third world, this game lived up to its name and it started to crash a lot. I was in an icy world, and sadly, whenever I would hit a barrel, the game would crash. Whenever I would go underwater, the game would crash. It just was not holding it together on the Nintendo Switch, and the frame rate was often losing the battle as well. That's not the worst performance I've seen, maybe in that 26, 25 frame per second range, 30 on its best day. Graphically, it's not a terrible looking game though, and I admire that they were able to cram this open world into the Switch at all. The various worlds are different enough from one another. I liked all the different set pieces that are scattered across them, and I think the online connectivity for the few people that were playing at the time of this review worked effectively enough. I didn't notice any sort of lag, any sort of stutters when other people would join. It was actually quite smooth, and there's a nice little symbol to indicate where that person is playing. So I saw a keyboard next to the name of my players, and I knew that they were playing on PC. As far as sound design goes here, the vehicle sounds are decent, nothing that's really unexpected or surprising, but the soundtrack is actually quite grating. There's maybe 3 or 4 rock tunes. They got repetitive, just as some of the challenges can, and a little bit annoying after a while, so nothing to write home about here in terms of sound. Crash Drive 3 is kind of fun to mess around with. I had a good time playing around in the open world, going off ramps and such, but the challenges do run stale after a while. The online connectivity is fairly impressive, but the Switch just seems to struggle with this game. It crashes at every corner, again living up to its name, and that makes for an unpleasant experience. So if you have access to one of the other consoles, I would maybe try to find out if it's running better there. I can only assume the PC version runs better, but you know what they say about assumptions. Maybe hold off on the Switch version if that's your only option. See if they get some patches out there, get the game a little bit more stable, because the entire time I was playing Crash Drive 3 on the Nintendo Switch, I was thinking to myself, this is probably a lot more fun somewhere else. Thank you so much for watching the latest video from I Dream of Indie. We'd now like to pay tribute to our great indie warriors: Mitchell Hall, Kevilo, Bunny, Bill Tikaz, Christian Cruz, Strict9, Rosie Syntax, Chris Jackson, Nathan Moore, Peach, Adriana Amato, CJR, Falco Lombardi, C Coil, Skeptism, Jen Rose, and Julian Kolbus. Thank you for everything you do for independent games, developers, publishers, and for I Dream of Indie. Everybody else, head down to the description box below. Let's defeat the echo chamber and bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming.